Backgrounding is how we get information on our sources and find sources, and so let's take a look at maybe how we can find some good information for the articles we want to write. So this is what we're doing. We're looking to find sources and key information. Is this someone that you can trust? Is it information you can trust? So you can't just take things on face value as a reporter. You need to go behind the scenes and see whether or not something's authentic and see how realistic it is. We need to dig to find that information. So there's no one site I can tell you that's going to do all this for you. There's a bunch of them, and I'm going to give you quite a few so you can start. And when you know you're going to be writing on someone, these are the kind of places that you're going to want to go to look for information. It's also important to look just beyond the single person that you might be interviewing and look to their friends, their family, their business associates. Keep a log of everything that you find so that you know where you found it, when you found it, that you can go back and find it again. Log any statements. Covering politics, I would log when people would say certain statements or have certain positions so that if they changed, I could go back through time, and we can certainly look to do that, especially super easy now with web searching. But even with our web searching, it's important that we get second, third opinions. So don't just go to Google. Here's some other examples, and we're going to play around with these in class. Where you get clustered results, you get a directory. Dogpile will search both Google, Yahoo, and Bing. I love DuckDuckGo. There's no tracking on that. So it's important that we try these out and see what they do differently. Another great site for backgrounding is called Zabasearch. You can see this is me and all the information it's come back with. My maiden name, my age, where I've lived. My mother's the top one. My sister is the third person listed, where I went to school. So the actual report costs money, but this is great information to get started on, especially you're trying to figure out, is this the right person? There's more than one Nicole Craft. Okay, well, she's probably more likely 47 than she is 27, so you can figure things out this way. Here's a great site, the real estate search, Franklin County. I've used as an example, but a lot of counties have them. And this is pretty much what we're looking to do. So you can put in, this is my address. And when you search for it, you can see that it comes up with all the information. My husband, where we live, how much money we pay in taxes, the size of our house. You can actually go over here on the left-hand side and get a photo of my house. You can check it out. It's a pretty nice house. And then you can actually go over and get a sketch and see the outlines. So, this is a great way of just really getting more information depending on the kind of story that you're working on. Portico, I've given you the website here. You can see there's all these different links that Portico has, tools and directories. There's reverse lookup, so if you have a phone number, you can find out who has that. Bunch of different search engines, all kinds of different property searches, business searches, nonprofits. All of these things are licensed. Businesses are licensed. Nonprofits are licensed. Nonprofits have to file tax documents, so you can look up all of these things through Portico. Court records, everybody who's in the court system, that's a public document. So, here's an example. We can look up Austin Kuzi and see what his court records show us. Everybody who you might want to find out who had a criminal record or someone who's in prison to find out where they are. You can find out all sorts of things through these types of websites. Don't be afraid to just go straight to the white pages. I had a guy that I couldn't find for years. And I was going to do a story on him finally, and no one could tell me where he was, and I ended up just looking him up in the white pages at his last known address, and poof, there he was. No social media, nobody could connect with him, but he was still listed with a phone book. Sex offenders, all public information, so you can go to this site, nsopw.gov. That's the National Sex Offender website, and you can find out, put in an address, find out if there's sex offenders around you. You can find out if anyone's registered as a sex offender. Federal Bureau of Prisons, anyone who's an inmate, you can find them, you can get information on communication, visiting them. This is, as you see, bop.gov, Bureau of Prisons. We also have a similar state directory. I've given you the website here, so these are people who are in state prison. The other one was in federal prison. There's also records and licenses. So remember, for you to have certain jobs, even someone who's a hairdresser or a plumber, all of those people are licensed by the state of Ohio, here in Ohio. So you can look up their records, their licenses, get addresses, get contact information. This is a great way of finding people and confirming whether or not they are who they say they are. Here's another one listing. I don't know if she'd like this, but this is my hairdresser. So I've looked up her professional license here in the state of Ohio, and you can see she's actually a licensed cosmetologist, so I'm doing okay. Now here's an example of how you could write a story like that. So in this case, this reporter went through and looked up parking tickets and looked up to find out specifically this guy was going to be St. Louis's next treasurer. So he looked up what any criminal complaints that had been put against him and found that he had gotten just quite a few delinquent tickets. They were unpaid for 14 years, left him with a state suspension of his car registration, criticism from candidates and community. So if you're going to trust someone with money, certainly a community's money, you want to know that they've even been able to pay a simple fine like this. So this is where you can take that data and turn it into a story.